The Red Raiders are set to embark on their toughest home test yet as they welcome in the Kansas Jayhawks and Jalon Daniels. In today's video, we'll discuss the three keys to the game for Texas Tech to improve to 6-0 ahead of their matchup out in Tempe against the Arizona State Sun Devils. What does the Texas Tech defensive line have to do, as well as the offense, and could we be in store for a big TCJ game? Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's video, and we're on our journey to 13K. I know y'all know that, but still, we've only got about, when you look at the non-subscribers, 38% of the viewers are non-subscribers. I think we can improve those numbers, help us get to 13K before men's basketball season tips off in early November. If you like 100% free content. If you don't, I completely understand. All right, let's jump into this because there's three keys to the game for me for Texas Tech to improve to 6-0, continue with this historic run that they are on right now, and ensure that they are in a really good spot for the back half of their schedule to really win a title in Arlington. They are the heavy favorites to win the Big 12 title, now minus odds according to FanDuel Sportsbooks, minus 105 for the Red Raiders to win the Big 12 title, but we're looking ahead there. Let's focus on Kansas. The first key to the game for me is limit the explosive plays for KU. This is where Jalon Daniels is special. Okay, this Kansas offense is the most explosive offense in the Big 12 when you look at it. They love to go fast and they love to push the envelope and get those high explosive plays. So 15, 20-plus yard plays, right? And they've got Henderson on the outside, the Alabama transfer. He is the fastest player in the Big 12. I don't really think it's a debate. Just go watch the film, right? But Jalon Daniels loves to throw the ball downfield. The issue I have with this in terms of KU having that as part of their game plan is good freaking luck having the time to do so. You as a Red Raider fan know this Texas Tech defensive line is arguably the best in all of college football. It may not be the best, but it's definitely damn near in the conversation for best, okay? Right? Will Jalon Daniels have time to throw the ball down the field is the big question. And your defensive line is going to have to really lock in and make sure that they really limit some of the mistakes that they made against Houston. And I know that's me being nitpicky. I really, truly understand him. I mean, shoot. David Bailey had 11 pressures against Houston. Like, he made Dalton Merriman look just like me, honestly, at the right tackle spot. I mean, and that's no disrespect to Merriman. Just throw him the film. It wasn't great for him, okay? Can you make Jalon Daniels dink and dunk? If you can, everything stays in front. We know Texas Tech has been a sure tackling team this year under Sheil Wood's guidance as the defensive coordinator. I want to see if you can limit those big explosive plays, and if you can, it's going to be very difficult for Kansas to garner drives where they're dinking and dunking, getting 4 yards here, 5 yards there, 8 yards here, right? If you can limit those explosive plays and really force Jalon Daniels to not have that opportunity at downfield shots, you're going to increase your chances of winning this football game. And as it stands right now, you're 14.5-point favorites. All right. Attack the middle of the field. This is for the offensive side of the football, obviously, okay? We know that the running backs for Texas Tech had a pretty damn big day down in Houston, okay? Over 200 combined rushing yards for those two down there, and that doesn't even include Cam Dickey's 69-yard TD catch and run. Nice, right? But I think against KU, it's kind of fool's gold what they've got going on right now, and that's not me trying to be disrespectful. It's just like watching the film, and I'm like, okay, like they have guys that are good in terms of the interior of their defensive line, and they have, a couple of good linebackers, particularly one, right, where I'm like, okay, he's good. But I think they haven't played an offensive line like Texas Tech. They just haven't yet, and that includes Missouri's. I think Texas Tech's offensive line is going to push them, and I think the Red Raiders are going to be able to capitalize at running between the tackles in this zone concept, which is interesting from the standpoint of, okay, what they did against Houston is, yeah, they did run between the tackles some, but if you go look at what happened for Jacoby Williams and Cam Dickey really consistently, some of the big plays that they had against Houston were bouncing it outside and making sure that they go there. I think the Red Raiders run between the tackles a lot more. That means Howard Sampson and Jacob Ponton, two guys that graded out as two of the best tackles in college football last week with their performance down in Houston. will inevitably have to have a good game. Again, I think you've got Davon Carter there at right guard. You've obviously feel good about Will Jaddos, and Sheridan Wilson has been stellar at the center position for Texas Tech. I'm very interested to see how the Red Raiders run the football, but I think they do so at a high level between the tackles, right? I mentioned the middle of the field, though. I know he was involved somewhat down in H-Town, but this feels like a Terrence Carter Jr. game to me. It really does. You had Coy Aiken, who had a ton of receptions against the Cougars down there, and you had a couple of great plays by Caleb Payday Douglas. I mean, shoot, he had 100 yards before halftime, right? The Houston area native. And then you had Reggie Virgil made some critical catches as well. I think this is where Terrence Carter Jr. has a standout game. The Red Raiders are back at home. Terrence Carter Jr. has really been solid, right? But we haven't seen that staple, just Judge's hammer coming down type game that Terrence Carter Jr. shows that he is arguably the best tight end in this conference. I think this is the game where TCJ absolutely balls out. I think he gets close to, if not just slightly over, 100 receiving yards in this game. All right, we move to the last key to the game for me in this one. And again, I'd be remiss not to mention, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button if you want 100% free Texas Tech content all year long. We're giving you daily videos through Texas Tech football and men's basketball season. Red Raider basketball is right around the corner. We got the level to bevel. How about that, huh? We love the new logo. Let me know your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. By the way, I absolutely love the new logo changes, especially the numerous amounts of colors and selection that they're going to have for them. But maybe that's a separate video. Let me know if you want me to talk about that. All right. Last key to the game for me. It goes back to the defense, and it's Jalon Daniels. You got to contain. The Red Raiders have faced early on in Big 12 play two of the best mobile quarterbacks and dual threat quarterbacks the Big 12 has to offer, whether that's Devin Dampier at Utah or Connor Wigman before he got hurt. Now you face the best one. Jalon Daniels is the best dual threat quarterback in the Big 12, full stop. If somebody tells you differently, they're wrong, okay? I like Sam Levitt. I like Sawyer Robertson, but at their peak, in terms of the dual threat side of things, Jalon Daniels is the best in my opinion, okay? And this is a guy where if you can force him to be a pocket passer, I think your chances of winning exponentially increase, because he is a guy that when he gets out of the pocket and he has the opportunity to really go off script, have the opportunity to use his legs, be mobile, and really wreak havoc on the outside of a defense, that's where teams get in trouble against KU. And I think if you can keep Jalon Daniels in the pocket and really allow that Texas Tech defensive line to stay true to their run lanes, right? Like, you got to stay true to those. You can't overcommit like you did sometimes against Houston. I don't think it's going to work as effectively against Kansas. But if you can have that rush lane integrity, be sure that you don't overcommit by even just a yard, right? Or even be pushed back just a yard, where he can step up in the pocket and have opportunities to run through the gap in the offensive line. I think if you can force him to have Lee Hunter or Skylar Gill-Howard right there when he throws, I don't think it's going to end well for the Jayhawks. So again, contain. He has improved as a passer. I am not knocking Jalon there. I think he is, again, the best dual threat quarterback this league has to offer right now. And again, he's been through it, right, with the injuries aspect of it, but he is a veteran. He is one of the oldest quarterbacks in the Big 12. He's really damn good, and you have to respect the mobility aspect of it, because he has gotten better as a passer. But I feel better about Texas Tech's chances of really dominating this football game if Jalon Daniels is just a traditional passer than if you allow him to be the dual threat, because he will inevitably pick up 2 or 3 third downs where you're like, we're getting off the field here, and then you don't have that rush lane integrity, and there he goes to get 8 when you only had to hold him for 7. Right? That's what's going to happen. So again, the 3 keys to the game for me: limit the explosive plays, make Jalon Daniels dink and dunk down the field. If he does, respect it, right? I think that's probably the hardest thing a team can do against Texas Tech is dink and dunk down the field, because they've been really solid at tackling, but also at the same time, maybe that's the best way to beat Texas Tech, because, well, you know they're going to get after you if you're the quarterback, right? Maybe the best option is to get the ball out in 2 seconds or less, right? And see if you can get down the field just 4 and 5 yards at a time. But you know Texas Tech is going to tackle at a very, very high level, because, again, this defense is the highest rated defense in the country, according to PFF, and arguably one of the best units this country. I mean, in the country, man. This defense is unreal. Unreal. It's a top 5 unit in the country. Okay? So that's key number 1. Attack the middle of the field, but with both with the run game and the passing game. I think this is going to be a big Cam Dickey game. Obviously, he had a big game down in Houston. I think he has similar things here at home for homecoming for the 100th anniversary of Texas Tech football. I expect him to have a big game, but I also expect TCJ, I'm sorry, Terrence Carter Jr. I was getting Terrence Shannon Jr. That's confusing. But nonetheless, TCJ, the tight end for the Red Raiders, to have a big game. I think he's going to be electric in this one. And this is going to be that, just drop the hammer. All right, that's why we think you're one of the best tight ends, not only in the Big 12, but in the country. And then last but not least, when it comes to my final key to the game, contain, force Jalon Daniels to stay in a messy pocket and be a pocket passer. If you do those 3 things, I think Texas Tech absolutely beats the you-know-what out of the Kansas Jayhawks. And in fact, my score prediction is 41-20 Texas Tech. Let me know your score prediction for Kansas at number 9, Texas Tech. I know I asked you guys this question over on the game preview, and you can get more detail over on in terms of that, game and my thoughts and everything on that video. But let me know your score prediction down in the comments below. All right. That's going to do it for keys to the game for number 9, Texas Tech. Homecoming, 100th anniversary game. Level the bevel. Thank you, Texas Tech, for listening to us. Thank you. And if somebody says that this isn't the right decision, we're going to have to have a word. But that's for another video. I appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in. As always, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, stay safe and Reckham Tech.